Imagine this. You're 65, finally retired, house paid off, nest egg secure. Then she appears, charming, attentive, making you feel alive again after years of solitude. But what if that smile hides a calculated trap? What if she's not drawn to your wisdom or your laugh, but to the zeros in your bank account? In the shadows of dark psychology, this isn't romance. It's a silent hunt. And you're the prey. Let's dive deep. You've built your life brick by brick. Sacrifices, long hours, quiet endurance. Now at 60 plus, you're a beacon in a sea of uncertainty. Women facing their own financial voids see you not as a partner, but as a lifeline. They wield subtle manipulations, flattery laced with probing questions, affection timed to exploit your isolation. It's not overt evil. It's survival instinct twisted into psychological warfare. But why you? Why now? The answer lies in the cracks of loneliness you've hidden for decades. They sense it, amplify it, turning your vulnerability into their opportunity. One wrong step and your legacy vanishes. Stick around, the first red flag might shock you. Picture yourself at a cozy dinner, her eyes locked on yours, hanging on every word. But beneath that gaze, a masterclass in dark psychology, mirroring your gestures, echoing your stories, building an illusion of soul-deep connection. It's not fate. It's a tactic honed to erode your defenses. And in this game, your retirement is the prize. Delve into the shadows. Women in financial straits often deploy these subtle arts. They study you like prey, noting your isolation after a spouse's loss or a bitter split. With calculated empathy, they fill the void, whispering validations that make you crave more. But it's all a setup, exploiting cognitive biases where loneliness warps judgment, making red flags seem like green lights. Why does it work so flawlessly? Because dark psychology preys on the human need for belonging. One probing question about your finances, disguised as care, and you're hooked. But ignore this at your peril. The next sign could unravel everything you've built. Envision her hand brushing yours, a spark after years in the emotional desert. But in dark psychology's playbook, that's no accident, it's love bombing, flooding you with affection to bypass your rational mind. One moment of doubt, and she's got you questioning your own instincts. Unpack the manipulation. These women, often shadowed by their own fiscal fears, use anchoring techniques, early compliments that set a high bar, making withdrawal feel like loss. They probe your past pains, weaving tales that mirror yours, creating false intimacy. It's psychological sleight of hand, turning isolation into dependency, where your retirement becomes the unspoken collateral. The trap tightens subtly. You share a laugh, then a secret, and suddenly, her suggestions feel like shared dreams. But peel back the layers, this is engineered vulnerability. Miss the cue, and the fourth sign will blindside you harder than the rest. Feel that rush when she remembers every detail you shared, making you think she's the one? In dark psychology's arsenal, that's active listening weaponized, a facade to build trust fast, while her real agenda simmers beneath. One slip and your guard crumbles. Explore the depths. She deploys reciprocity traps, small favors that obligate you emotionally, paving the way for bigger asks. Drawing from shadows of scarcity mindset, she hints at her struggles, invoking your protector instinct, darkly, twisted to make you overlook inconsistencies. Your retirement? It's the hidden target in this chess game of minds. The web tightens with each shared vulnerability. You open up about your losses. She nods, empathizes, but catalogs it all for leverage. This isn't connection, it's calculated erosion. Overlook it now, and the fifth revelation will hit like a storm you never saw coming. Whispered secrets in the dim light, her story unfolds, mirroring your hardships, drawing you closer. But dark psychology calls this false mirroring, a shadow tactic to forge unbreakable bonds, making you blind to her ulterior motives. One shared vulnerability too many, and you're ensnared. Plunge into the abyss, she exploits confirmation bias, feeding you echoes of your beliefs, while subtly steering conversations toward your assets. In the undercurrents of manipulation, her compliments aren't free. They're investments in your trust, eroding skepticism. Your retirement looms as the ultimate reward in this psychological maze, where every I understand is a step toward control. The illusion deepens with each encounter. You confide, she absorbs, adapts, but never fully reveals her own shadows. This asymmetry isn't accidental, it's power play. Dismiss it lightly, and the sixth layer of deception will drag you under without mercy. Sense that nagging doubt when she anticipates your needs perfectly, almost reading your mind? Dark psychology dubs it predictive empathy, a shadowy illusion crafted to make you feel uniquely understood. While she maps your weaknesses, one unguarded moment and the net closes tighter. Venture deeper into the manipulation. She uses operant conditioning, rewarding your disclosures with affection, training you to reveal more, especially about finances. In the murky realms of cognitive dissonance, she plants seeds of doubt in your solitude, making her presence indispensable. Your retirement? It's the veiled endpoint of this psychological siege, where trust morphs into total surrender. The deception evolves relentlessly. You yield a detail. She amplifies it, but her own history remains a fog. This isn't rapport, it's strategic dominance. Turn a blind eye, and the seventh veil of trickery will shatter your illusions forever. That chill when she predicts your moods, offering comfort before you ask. Dark psychology labels it emotional forecasting, a veiled probe into your psyche, disguised as intuition. One misstep in this dance, and your autonomy slips away unnoticed. Descend further, she leverages classical conditioning, associating her presence with relief from loneliness, while subtly interrogating your financial stability. In the twilight of subconscious influence, she sows seeds of obligation, making independence feel like betrayal. Your retirement transforms into the phantom prize, lurking in every empathetic glance, where vulnerability becomes the currency of control. The snare coils with precision. You seek solace. She provides, but extracts fragments of your guard in return. This isn't foresight, it's predatory insight. Shun the warning, and the eighth shadow of deceit will eclipse your final defenses. The unease creeps in when she echoes your deepest values, aligning flawlessly with your worldview. Dark psychology terms it value synchronization, a stealthy erosion of your critical thinking. One resonant agreement and your inner alarms go silent. Probe the obscurity. She employs social proof illusions, referencing shared ideals to validate her intrusion, while covertly assessing your estate's vulnerabilities. In the penumbra of influence, she fosters groupthink isolation, making external doubts seem unfounded. Your retirement? It morphs into this spectral jackpot, concealed in affirmations that bind you tighter, where alignment breeds unwitting compliance. The entanglement intensifies subtly. You affirm a belief. She amplifies, but her contradictions lurk unseen. This isn't harmony, it's hegemonic harmony. Ignore the discord, and the ninth stratum of subterfuge will unmask the irreversible trap. A subtle shift in her tone when topics turn personal, affirming your every view with uncanny precision. Dark psychology identifies this as ideological entrainment, a covert pull into her narrative web. One echoed sentiment, and your objectivity dissolves into fog. Unearth the gloom. She harnesses framing effects, reshaping your perceptions of security to include her, while discreetly cataloging your wealth's weak points. In the obscurity of persuasive shadows, she instills a false sense of unity, rendering solitude unbearable. Your retirement emerges as the obscured trophy, embedded in dialogues that subtly demand inclusion, where consensus masks coercion. The machination builds inexorably. You voice an opinion. She concurs, deepens it, yet her motives remain shrouded. This isn't unity, it's unilateral sway. Evade the insight, and the 10th and final expose will seal your fate in darkness. The veil lifts completely when her every word aligns with your unspoken fears, pulling you into a psychological vortex. You can't escape dark psychology's pinnacle and total entrainment, where your will bends to hers without resistance. One final nod, and your retirement slips into her grasp forever. Confront the core. She masterminds narrative control, reframing your assets as ours, exploiting sunk cost fallacies to lock you in. In the abyss of dark influence, she erodes your autonomy, turning affection into ownership. But here's the twist. Reclaim the shadows. Arm yourself with awareness. Demand reciprocity, trust only verified actions. Your retirement isn't her salvation. It's your fortress. Break free now, or vanish into her calculated embrace. The game ends here, but the shadows linger. You've seen the playbook. Will you rewrite your ending? or let the darkness claim you.